Welcome back to another automation breakdown where we break down automated solutions for your business needs. I'm your host, Chris, and today we will be talking about updating an Excel workbook from yesterday's contents to today's contents. Think of an employee roster. The file itself is the same thing. Your employee roster is the employee roster, but the contents within it need to update from yesterday to today's new contents. You might have some employees coming, some employees going, whatever the case may be. The same thing can be said about your accounts receivable on your aging report. You might have some aging that drops off, you might have some new aging that hops on, whatever the case may be, but that same file needs to be updated. The same thing can be said about your logistics tracking or maybe your customer service tracking. That list can go on and on.
It keeps going and going and
So this is the Excel document right here, and I'm just going to put this inside of some type of table. And a side note, all of these names in here are AI generated. I didn't make any of these, so just FYI, if it's your name, great. If it's someone else's name that you know, I'm sorry that AI came up with the same name that you or someone that you know have.
Sure, Jan.
Let's say you are in department one, maybe department three, whatever that is, and you have these pending files in this context. And these are pending with HR. This is pending with your second level leader, your first level leader, and whoever it's pending with. All of that was received in this Excel file right here. Again, in this automated email from, in this case, it would be my HRIS system. Let's hop on over to Power Automate and be able to take this file, update the file from yesterday's contents to today's contents. So for that, I'm going over to the waffle menu up here, clicking on Power Automate, and then let's start building that out. Clicking on Create, I will use any one of these, honestly. This is automated cloud flow. I'm going to skip the defaults of what Power Automate suggests, and I'm just going to go ahead and create my own. Blank slate here. Let's go ahead and give it a title. Let's go ahead and give this a trigger when a new email arrives. Now, when you look at this, there's two different sections here. There's the Outlook.com and the Outlook or the Office 365 Outlook. I know most companies, myself, I'm going to be using this one. Depending on you, your Microsoft package, just make sure that you are checking the right one. And so again, I'm using the Office 365 Outlook when a new email arrives version 3. And so this is basically saying use it for any email right now, any email that comes in, but you are able to filter it to the correct email. And so from this advanced parameters, I'm going to click this and do subject filter. So now I've populated the subject filter right here. Coming back over to the email, you see the subject is daily termination list. I'm going to copy that one and use that right in here. Now I can be even more filtered and under advanced parameters, do from, and so it'll only come from certain people and we'll activate this automation. We'll trigger this automation only when it's from certain people with this title. Oops. Um, I'm not going to do that for the purposes of this since it's just me here. Please filter it to the right email so it's not triggering all of these other times. Inside of this email, we also have this attachment right here. And so back into Power Automate, does it include attachment? Yes, it does include an attachment. Only trigger this automation with when it contains an attachment. So yes on both of them. Yes, it does contain an attachment, and yes, only trigger this automation with attachments. Now, as I click the plus icon here, the next thing that we want to do is we have the email, we found it, we've triggered it. We need to get those attachments from that email. Again, under Office 365 Outlook, we have this get attachments. And as I load it in here, there are two things that you need to fill out inside of this action. That is the message ID, which is triggered from when a new email arrives. And this, we need the ID from that one. And then it says attachment ID. Well, if you think about an email having multiple attachments, the expectation is there could be multiple attachments. There could be one, there could be 10, there could be 15, whatever that is. So let's start building this out. Click on here, go to the lightning bolt. And now we need to, you can say see more and find that ID. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm just going to search for it right here and message ID. Great. Now we've found the exact message that this action is going to do to get the attachment. Now we need this attachment ID. You do the same thing here and you do ID attachments, which again, expectation is that there could be more than one attachment. get the attachment ID, if you automatically click this, what's going to happen is Power Automate, again, the expectation is there could be more than one attachment. So it's going to loop it in this for each, saying, hey, use it for every single one of these attachments. But I don't want to do that. What I found is there could be errors where, let's pretend your HRIS or maybe your vendor sends multiple files with some type of update in each one of them, but you only want the first Excel file in it. So here's how you get rid of this for each. Inside of this get attachments, I'm going to delete this one out. And inside this attachment ID, instead of using this lightning bolt this time, I'm going to write a function, again, just to get that first item in there. That will be trigger outputs, question mark, body slash attachments with an S, don't forget the plural. And then we do the square brackets and put the 0. Again, this is how you get the first attachment. But the expectation of this is not the attachment itself, but the attachment ID. So then you're going to write question mark, square brackets, single quotes, and inside of this, lowercase ID. Clicking on the plus icon, the next action that we need to do is update file. Again, we're just updating it from yesterday's contents to today's contents. If you've seen my last video, which I will link in the description below, we had used this previous file for a termination list that was on my desktop. So I'm going to be updating that file from yesterday's contents to today's contents, which will be, again, it's on my desktop. So I'm going to come over to the root, go over to desktop, and it should be right here, termination list. Great. Now, the next one is file content. This is, again, the shell of the document is the title right here. And the contents that we're going to fill it, we're going to empty yesterday's contents and fill it with today's new contents that was inside of this get attachments action. Clicking on the lightning bolt here, you see right here content bytes. If you don't see it right away, again, you can search for it. I'm going to click on content bytes. Now we have officially updated yesterday's file to today's new file.
But wait, there's more.
If you remember saying from before, I did Control T or Control L, which put this inside of a table. Now we want to make sure that this Excel file is usable with other automations throughout the day. In order for Power Automate to work with this, it needs to be inside of a table, which the next action that we need to do is create table inside of Excel Online for Business. Create table right here. The location is OneDrive for Business, the document library is OneDrive, and let's go get the file. Now you can either do this manually, just like what we did before, or if you come here inside of the lightning bolt here, you can do ID. And this ID will be the same path. It's the same path from the update file used now into the create table. Now it's asking for a table range. This is where we can either hard code a table and say, I want it from over here, from A1 to, let's say, G25. But obviously today's list is a lot longer than that. So how do we make these tables dynamic? If there's 50 line items in it, the table will wrap around all 50 line items. If there's 100, 1,000, it'll wrap around the table all around the contents. The next action right here inside of table range, let's create this dynamic table. Now this is what I am putting inside of table range. And if it looks like an Excel formula, well, you are absolutely correct. So what is this telling Excel? First, it's an offset, which an offset creates a range starting from a specific cell. In this case, it's A1. And then it's doing a row offset. So do not move up or down from A1, just start at A1. Column offset is 0, meaning do not move left or right from A1. Now, what is the height? The height is the subtotal, meaning 103 is the counta function inside the subtotal, which counts non-blank cells. So this section is basically saying, count how many rows in column A contain data. The 7, this is the width. The table should span 7 columns wide. In this case, I've hard-coded the 7 here. What does this look like in practice? Let me come over to my Excel sheet. Let me create a new table, and I'm just going to paste that formula here. And you can see it's wrapped itself all around with the exact content that is inside of this. Sheet 2 looks exactly like it. meaning that we are going to create our table exactly around our sheet one, starting from A1, however many rows that this goes down. What you can do as well is create a table name right here. And this table name, well, if you saw my last video, you know me, I love using a compose. It just creates this isolated data. And so I'm going to rename this compose to table name. And inside of the inputs, I'm going to write in table one and then create table name. I'm going to insert what we just created there. I find that whenever I'm using Power Automate, using the compose a lot more just helps with troubleshooting later on. And so you'll find me using this technique a lot. Use a compose and then use the contents from the compose inside the action that you want to use. And finally, the last action that I'm going to use is delete email. Now, especially if you want workload off of your plate and out of your inbox, just more of peace of mind knowing that work was getting done. I like either using this one or marking the email as read. Either way, the mark email as read just keeps it in your inbox, but gets it out of your action items, or just deleting the email altogether just gets it out, peace of mind. Just like before, message ID, this requires the ID from the original email. So when a new email arrives, message ID, and now we have fully deleted that email. So I'm going to come over here, click on save, and let's go see this in action. As I was testing this, I completely forgot that I need to close out of the Excel workbook. It was still open on my desktop, and so I received this fail. And then, of course, I tested it again, and it worked just fine. But one thing that I do want to call out with Microsoft is it takes about 7 minutes, I've seen on average, where the Excel workbook that you just updated, you can't work with it anymore. I just ran the flow again, and I purposely did this to give myself a fail here is because when you come over to troubleshoot it, what happens is Excel save the document and then it locks it for, let's say, 7 minutes. You cannot update that same document again for that 7 minutes because Microsoft is still saving in the middle of saving that document to its library. And so I'm going to set a timer for 7 more minutes so that when I do test it, it will update and I'll just get in with the rest of the video. Set a timer for 7 minutes.
One eternity later.
3, 2, 1, time. Okay, so let me switch back over to my desktop and let's actually go through the rest of this video. So with that said, now we're going to get a new email into my inbox, just like this, and we are going to see in real time that the file was updated. So first, we have to wait for the automation to trigger, which it probably did in the background. And then you will see the email disappear. And if you look right here at the timestamp, the file is now updated from the before time to now 318. So great, the automation worked. We've now saved the file, and the file itself is now in a usable format that we can use with other automations. Termination list, send an email. This is the one that we were using in the last video that I made where we did a manual trigger. Now I can take this one after that email saves to my files. I can take the contents out of this Excel file now. So now as a side note, you can take the automation that we made in the last video, make this recurrence. I'm going to have it reoccur every single day. I live in California. And let's just say our email saves at 6 a.m. and we want to send that email out at 10 a.m. Great, now we can take this file and use the updated contents inside with this reoccurrence. And we took yesterday's file contents, updated to today's file contents from this video, and then in the last video, we used that working file. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me all the way up until the end of the video. Again, there are some nuances. I don't want to be perfect about using Power Automate. Microsoft does have this 7-minute timer just to save it to its library, as well as you can't have that file open. Once you get past some of those nuances, you should be able to take that email from your, again, HRIS, vendor, whatever that is, save it and update yesterday's contents to today's new contents, and be able to work with that information in later automations. Leave a comment if that 7-minute timer bugs you just as much as I do. Hit the like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you all in the next video.